Yes, and of course we set up with great compassion in the sense that it's we appreciate that it may induce certain fear, but ask yourself how founded, how rooted this fear is truly is. And what paradigm that I did so much engage into being engaged with one, let's say, candidate and political party. I have to look in terms of you tune in beyond your own emotional response and fear. It's it's understanding what is this really rooted in.
Mhm.
And I know that one at one point, one of the things that I was observing is that through the dialogue there was also fear that was underlying, and anybody, and I don't care who that is, anyone who utilize essential point of living, primal energy, fear to induce to make themselves look more nurturing and better for you, and selling their ideas, for me this is a red flag. And I'm like, okay, this is why my light and my discernment, my strength really kicks in. And of course I name no names. I point no one to the finger. I mention no candidate over the other. I'm just saying that if
Right.
you step out of the box or the matrix or the reality they have built for you, and with all the circus of the media and the tears of the actors and Hollywood, I mean, come on, that became a comedy. And and again, it makes no difference to me in my paradigm whether you name Harris or Trump or
Right, right.
Tremblay or Stevens or whatever name you want to bring. If you
Woo, woo! Hello, good people. How you doing today? It is Eric Taylor from Big E Astrology, and I'm back with another amazing episode with one of my favorite returning guests. This is episode 269. Wow, time is flying. She is an Arcturian ambassador, an intergalactic communicator, a podcast host, an author, a teacher, and so much more. I present to you, returning back to my show, Miss Viviane Chauvet. How are you, Viviane?
Oh, Eric, you're such a joy to be around. Thank you for this warm reintroduction and welcome. I am doing fantastic. Super thrilled to be with you and your audience. I know there's beautiful people watching, and of course, getting inspiration. It's about inspiring each other. It's about supporting each other. So, love being here.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Now, I'm going to tell the audience we're going to get to another one of your amazing, I call it like spiritual yummy meditations that you did last time for the audience live. But I want to start off with, you offer and do so much. And, the world is going through a lot right now at this current time. And I want to ask you in terms of in with the Galactic Federations and just with the Arcturian ambassadors on the council, where are we at? We just had an election in America. Our world is getting ready to go into a universal 9 year, 2025.
Mhm.
What's going on in the galactic and how's our evolution to the fifth dimension coming along?
That is absolutely a fantastic question, especially the last part, how our evolution to return to a fifth dimensional frequency state is going along. Well, if you look at just the changes going on right here in this country, in the US, the recent presidential election, we have to think this is much bigger than one candidate or one party. What is important to refocus on is how many unified voices have come together and said, regardless of what you're attempting or the machine behind it or the media or whatever projection or manipulation has been going on, the post-traumatic stress that just the people of this beautiful country have sustained 4 years ago, to see their freedom, their expression, their voice be taken away, tampered with, and says it no longer matters because we can do whatever we want and we're going to manipulate the outcome no matter what. Well, guess what? 4 years later, it shows how much the consciousness on the planet has shifted tremendously to the point that that is no longer accepted. And no longer accepted is that so many people have come together, and it's a unified voice. It's a very unified, clear, decisive choice that came through, whether it's green, red, purple, yellow. It's really, we're moving beyond that. You have to really tune in and coming back into a more re-harmony with yourself. Release the cognitive dissonance and the emotional entanglement behind it. And if you step out of your own consideration and you look box of reality, you have to look in terms of, even let's say the map was purple, let's pretend it was purple. That purple light came back together and it was a choice. People have risen. The people of this country has come together, regardless they know each other or not, regardless of their personalities, what they're doing for a living, what cultural background that they grew up with, where are they in the what state are they living in. The people of this country have come together and have demonstrated to the rest of the world that if we really continue to come together in unity, decisiveness, precision, and empowerment, we have the ability to overcome and throw out of balance a very old machine. It seems to have all the resources and the media and the communication device, entertainments, financial, banks. In spite of all of it, it is the power of our light that says we decide what is the next direction. So I want to illustrate that. And even I know from an astrology perspective, you're the expert here, but the planets are reflecting that. I know someone told me recently that Pluto just stepping out of Capricorn and the change that it really brings. And you talk about a year of a 9. Well, I look at the analogy of the original French tarot that I was trained in my early 20s in the art of decoding the tarot. Well, the 9 is really this deep cycle, this time cycle of completion, and the 9 is opening the 0 in the pure potential state that we're in right now, and the 1 is the manifestation in tangible form, just to make it very simple.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what we are in. So from an intergalactic perspective, to your point, Eric, is all the galactic alliances who have been foreseeing and monitoring and observing a multitude on timeline unfoldings at the same time. These timelines have, show us the direction and the potential of where Gaia and the planet will go. Now, finally, we've entered a more decisive timeline in the sense that in the sense that people on the planet, we are much more ready overall, globally and planetary, to really embrace that the pathway, or what we call the organic timeline, that leads us naturally to our reascension. It's a grand return. It's a grand rising. Think about it. We are rising. We are the star seeds on the planet. Many of you are star seeds. You can finally step into your own frequency, activate your gifts. You are increasing, enhancing your quality of your communication with your star families. And all of our star brothers and sisters of the enlightened ones are finally going to be able to say, now we can move forward and bring the next level of the frequency necessary to sustain that global conscious choice and direction in your timeline because of the energy and the stability behind it. And that's part that we feel it's going to be. One of the things that my Arcturian delegation have mentioned right away in November after the election, or the choice, or the result, of the election here,
Right.
it says, can you feel already that it was almost like a disconnect with an old timeline? There's already a disconnect, and we are really now moving into the new gateway, which is 2025. It's going to be a new cosmic gateway. And one of the things that we are seeing already is that it's going to bring in much more refined, higher level of frequencies. And these refined, higher level of frequencies is going to help everyone on the planet to, and their body template shifting, the DNA movement that we've been talking about, multitude of activation. Well, it's going to be about reprogramming anymore. It's no longer about reactivating anymore. It's about simply allowing that organic re-evolution to take place. It's already in movement. You can see it even the way the galactic alignment is. Gaia is entering into new space. It really is. It's going to be so many ripple effect. But take a deep breath. And what is important, you need to stay grounded in a higher presence, grounded into a higher discernment, clarity, certainty. Be grounded with yourself in redirecting or rediscovering your relationship with the planet, to yourself, with your guides, your galactic families, with people on the planet, and the movement of the timeline. So it's a new way of grounding ourselves so that it is easier to integrate the multitude of changes and the multi-layer that will continue to unfold. Just to explore a little bit of the changes going on, right?
I love all of that. So wait, now, but okay, so now I have to say, I feel it and I totally agree with you. And I've been explaining to people um, always faith over fear. Now, our country is still divided. I mean, it was a big victory. But I will say, I know people personally, and I've seen, the fear and the tears over social media and the internet that a lot of people have. And I want you to kind of reestablish or assure them that it, like you said, it doesn't matter purple, blue, red, Trump, Harris, but how do you explain to people who are kind of still caught up in this cognitive dissonance and the programming of the matrix and all the fear, right? There was a lot of fear about, oh, if Trump wins, this is going to happen, this and that. And I try to explain to people, and this was the term that I came up, we need to become the presidents of our own lives. It should not matter to you who's in office because you need to be doing the spiritual work and discipline for your own ascension and for your own integration of these light codes and the energy. This came off the 1111 portal, and the Schumann resonance was extremely high. So, how do you calm the nerves of even people watching my channel that are still in the fear programming that the world's ending because a certain president won?
Yes, and of course we set up with great compassion in the sense that it's we appreciate that it may induce certain fear, but ask yourself how founded, how rooted this fear is truly is. In what paradigm that I did so much engage into being engaged with one, let's say, candidate and political party. I have to look in terms of you tune in beyond your own emotional response and fear. It's it's understanding what is this really rooted in.
Mhm.
And I know that at one point, one of the things that I was observing is that through the dialogue, there was also fear that was underlying. And anybody, and I don't care who that is, anyone who utilize essential point of living, primal energy, fear to induce to make themselves look more nurturing and better for you and selling their ideas, for me this is a red flag. And I'm like, okay, this is why my light and my discernment, my strength really kicks in. And of course I name no names, I point no one to the finger, I mention no candidate over the other. I'm just saying that if
Right.
you step out of the box or the matrix or the reality they have built for you, And with all the circus of the media and the tears of the actors and Hollywood, I mean, come on, that became a comedy. And and again, it makes no difference to me in my paradigm whether you're named Harris or Trump or
Exactly.
Tremblay or Stevens or whatever name you want to bring. If you bring yourself in alignment in the sacredness and your true light who says, look, from a human perspective, yes, I am imperfect. One may be rooted in more, old business ways, and there's nothing perfect, but you have to look beyond the comedy. You have to look beyond the projection. Anyone that manipulates the human race to the sensitivity and our heartstring, for me, is like you're out, whether you're a spiritual teacher, well established. I see groups that have thousands of followers or big for over 30 years. But the moment you start to shift your narrative, and you start to integrate aspect of manipulation or pulling people's heartstring or playing on their really basic fear level, that is basic needs for the human race to thrive, to feel secure, to feel grounded, to feel that that they are nurtured and they're safe and they can express themselves. When those basic energies, or what we call it protocols, are being manipulated, whoever you are, for me, it's like, I draw the line. And so, one thing I have observed, what is the symbology, the huge aspect of this particular presidential election here in this beautiful United States, is that it was no longer about one candidate or one party to the next be opposing the next. It was ideologists. It was a very big old machine of power, authority. You can tell it was a third dimensional frequency paradigm, fearing for its own survival. And when you see all these seemingly Hollywood, who are really good actors, they can put a good act, and they come on TV and then they're crying. They're not crying for you. They're crying for their own survival.
Yeah.
So
I love that you
again,
say that because, okay, I don't mean to cut you off, but that right there, because, okay, November 19th, we will be in Pluto Aquarius till 2044. And I explained to people, and I've been saying, get your popcorn ready. This last run from September 1st to November 19th of Pluto Capricorn, you are going to see the end of the old structures and systems, and you have to say goodbye, but it's very hard for so many people. And even you'll see some spiritual people who I'm surprised but they're still caught up in the system, in the matrix. Celebrities, that energy, it's dead. It doesn't matter anymore. No one really cares. So, even as that was a big theme in this, people coming out and speaking, I was like, that's not what you want to tie yourself to, because humanity doesn't care. We've moved past that idolatry. And, in that sense, it's a sign of hope, right? That we are really ascending. And the structures of political, financial, and entertainment are dissolving. And hopefully they get reimagined in a new way. Do you see, moving forward, a reimagination of America? Where in the ascension does just our nation play its part in it?
it's all intertwined. You have to again look at it from a higher dimensional perspective. And again, if individuals needs to clear their own filters, like I'll give you an example, a very simple example to illustrate what I'm about to share. Um, I recently I do many events online, but I was recently invited to do one of the events for 1111 Cosmic Portal. And during one of my presentation, the host was agreeing with me and was redirecting or rephrasing what I was saying in different terms, which was perfect, was a beautiful symphony. But someone in the audience were typing in and saying, well, I'm a simple person, keep it simple. I guess I need simple. So I caught that very just the corner of my eyes, and I wanted to bring inspiration. It says, well, being simple, maybe it's an invitation to transmute what the word being simple means and allowing maybe some of the attachment to it to release itself so you can really open opportunity to access higher intuition, higher mental faculties, discernment, clarity, opening a third eye to new also vision. And I said something to inspire. The response was completely opposite. Is I was being judgmental, I was being blamey, and I was calling her dumb and all of it. And I said I never mentioned the word DUMB
Yeah.
to begin with. So, well, again, I was observing that there was a healing taking place.
Yeah.
The person who was not in this state was unable to be in a state of ownership and recognizing, even though I was calm, inviting, positive, compassionate, and says, look, I think there's a healing going on. You can tell there's filters coming to the surface and misinterpretation. It distorted a moment during an event, a spiritual event, mind you.
Yeah.
It distorted that energy and it created distortion for everyone who were listening. Now it became just all about that person. It was no longer about the event. And no matter, and let alone the ripple effect on everybody else. So imagine during a spiritual event where people tune in because they feel a calling to be in a higher consciousness and connection with others. Imagine a rally around political parties where the emotion flies high, where there's a lot of subconscious filters, old wounds, programming, belief systems, and all kind of influence, seen and unseen, that play out. This is why we have to really unwind ourselves from a situation, whether it's a nation situation, like the election, for example, and really tuning in terms of what are we looking at. So what we are perceiving, because America plays a natural role of leading the way into a higher frequency for the ascension, it's going to help to what I call pulling some weeds out of other, leaders of the world. And, like England needs a big reshape. England needs to be free. It really needs to be freed from this monarchy,
Yeah.
supremacy of
You
I
can
can
feel
live in
that
a
density, right? You feel that, right?
Oh, I do, and I have a joy of working with amazing, gifted people from all over England. I love England. I love the people.
Yeah.
There's a heavy, very heavy, dark, oppressive energy behind it.
Yeah.
And this is just one example. So, will America, I can see the role that as a cascading effect, like a domino effect, where if here in this beautiful country, a very large overall majority of people stand up and say, we don't know each other, but we live in the same country and this is what we choose, even though there may be there's pocket all over the country, there's pockets. The majority has spoken. Can he invite instead to says, okay, if that's strong, what am I missing? Am I being manipulated? Am I being caught up because I'm being played on my own sensitivity? Whether it's about sexual identities or cultural or minority or whatever 3D label you want to put, am I higher as a being beyond these labels? You have to release yourself from these labels. I mean, when I grew up, Eric, people, doctors, teachers, specialists, they didn't know what to do with me because I'm an ET being incarnate into a hybrid form, a human form, a hybrid body. They didn't know what to do with me. So what they did, they put a multitude of labels on me.
Yes.
And I would say some of these labels were deadly. They were giving me a death sentence, literally. I was put a label that has a death sentence to it. Well, I'm still standing very strongly.
That's right. And I remember you said that your brother was your protector.
Oh, yes. Bless
Now,
his heart.
okay, so I want to touch on that for a second because that's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Kind of with the brother, but also just with you and your experience. Because I remember you saying to me that, because of how you came in spiritually, that your physical body was a little bit more frail, and then you were speak about these labels. Two things. Did you have, or are you aware of, past lives with your brother? And then at the same time, when you ascended here, can you tap into where your, did you come straight from Arcturus and the Galactic, or did you have physical 3D incarnations here prior to this life on Earth? Is that something that you're aware of?
Great question. So it comes to my brother. I only have one.
Yeah.
What I am aware of and have clear memory of is when we were my Arcturian delegation, when I was still in my Arcturian original form, we were already planning my return to this planet in a very unique form. I remember him in his higher form. So I remember
Mm.
creating these soul agreement that we will come into the same family unit and the role that we would play. So it's been an exchange that we're helping a soul to evolve at a different level. And
Right.
he's been in training for becoming a guardian, which he has earned his wings hands down many times over by now. But I can tell that that's what I remember rather than past life per se.
Okay.
I remember how the partnership, the friendship, the love, the acceptance of how two souls going to support each other. So from an intergalactic perspective, we knew that, that would be part of what we would be experiencing in that capacity. Now, your second question is also very beautiful because how did I came back to the planet in my generational timeline is I came directly from being a Arcturian. I came directly from our realm, and it took us a long time to be able to materialize this project, so to speak. So I have no need to have incarnation in between. I came directly consulting our actors like council and our elders, and we've been preparing that at the soul level. So I am directly considered as an ET incarnated in this hybrid human form in this vessel.
Mm. Okay, that leads to more questions because okay, so that's really fascinating. Um, okay, so I'm not that familiar with Arcturus. I know our common friend, Ms. Debbie Solaris, explained to me my Akashic and my galactic lineage was very it was mixed, but it was very Lyran, Vega, Orion.
Mhm.
Even think maybe Sirius and Pleiades. And so when I think about our planet, right, and Gaia in itself, we hear about Anunnaki and different forms of aliens, interbreeding and also influencing our evolution and our DNA here on Earth. Where and what is the role and what has been the role in that of the Arcturian galactic family here in terms of the connection to Earth?
Well, that's a great question too. So I just want to go back quickly
Okay.
to the galactic origin or an aspect of your galactic origin that you were revealed. And all of them, I can see that. And I like the way you brought just an aspect of Orion to understand the complexity of this 3D dualistic polarized world. This is kind of helping you as an anchor point. That's what the team told me when you said that. And so, yes, so this life cycle that you have in Orion really helps you a lot to understand the dynamic of how things are playing here.
Mm.
Okay, so just so you know, and the layers in you, it's wonderful. We embrace that and the other aspects. So if you look at when somebody gifted like Debbie or others or like myself, we look at aspect of your galactic origin that is influencing you in this lifetime.
Hmm.
Our philosophy is we look at it like a tree, like a soul tree or a generational soul, a tree of soul ancestry. I mean, imagine your tree
Mm.
of soul ancestry. We're looking at what branches of influence did you bring, what is the deeper core connection, and what nurture your roots, right? Like a tree.
Okay.
So some people would say, well, how can I be Syrians and having a connection with the whales, Vega, the Venusian, Pleiadian, all of it? It is possible because you are a multidimensional being. Now you have to think about then when you chose to come back and you accepted to return to Gaia within this historical timeline of reascending, right? It's pretty historical on many levels.
Oh yeah.
The thing is that you at the brilliance, the perfection of your soul, your being, look at what branches of connection, even to my cosmic galactic origin, will I bring and interweave into my blueprint to supporting me the most in this particular lifetime.
Mhm.
So of course, like for you, Eric, all these branches of connection, I can tell how you are really tapping into each those branch naturally and at a soul level and intuitively without having to mentally think about it because this is part of the soul blueprint that you brought with you. So we always decode the readings of how can I find out my cosmic origin? We say you can, as long as it serves you to understand the mechanism of your soul blueprint and how you're utilizing them in this lifetime. So it's just I want to bring some depth to it because it's going to help a lot of people watching, and I know that. And I love the way you share. So let's go back to the other question that you asked about our implication or in our involvement, the Arcturians' involvement. So a long, long, long time ago, an aspect of one of the High Council and the Star Regency Council we work with appointed the Arcturians or an aspect of our delegation to as an ambassador roles to this quadrant. So we were assigned to the solar system. We can see has a young system right at a little branch in a system in the galaxy called the Milky Way. And there was a planet that was in the middle of a huge, huge evolution, and there was a lot of change in the solar system. Like Mars was on a different level, and there was a lot of movement in the solar system. But that solar system is a corridor, like a gateway or corridor that was utilized and had been utilized for eons by many, many intergalactic groups. So when we first was assigned to this solar system, our role was to observe without interfering in the evolution and just bring the canvas of what it needs. So what we did is that we have transmitted through different aspect of it's almost like light codes, but it's octave of sound or of wavelength of
Hmm.
frequencies that we have brought onto the planet to really supporting the original human beings here on the planet and the interaction because we knew how many intergalactic beings were coming in and out, their impact, like the Pleiadians, how much they have play a big role to kind of jumpstart the evolution of the original human being on the planet where their DNA. They were really hoping to create that evolution. And then, of course, we heard about the Anunnaki and then the Draco, the reptilians, but there's many others. And they say, well, they're already their baseline or their original template is already in sync with the energy of the planet and the gravitational pull of the planet. Can we add more to the mix, so to speak, or adding more DNA and create a race of obedient server, worker, not server, my apology, worker, obedient worker, and very effective because they already have the physiology, they already are adaptable to the planet. They can go deep into the mine, or they can do this, they can extract different minerals for us, and so forth and so forth. I'm just putting a general idea here.
Right.
So, of course, all of this and even beyond have greatly influenced what we call the original humanoid template. And if you look at the DNA of that humanoid template, well, it may not have been completely designed to accelerate so much its development without having the proper spiritual conscious teaching to understand those evolution and these genetic markers or these galactic markers within the DNA. So oftentimes I've heard before that the Arcturians are referred to as the grandparents because what usually usually grandparents do is they look at different generation and we bring them the teaching. We come and bring different guidance, visions, perspective, life experience that the parents can be always be in tune with, or whatever it's happening in the family dynamic. It's just an overall cliche here.
Right.
But if you look at us a little bit that way, is that we've always been the ones who've been monitoring the solar system very closely, bringing in the next level of frequencies where we need to reattune. We have been monitoring the timeline very closely, and we have done a lot of different teaching and guidance and really support system for the star seed returning on the planet. We are contributing greatly, even to this day, to eliminate and pull out very heavy, dark, negative influence. Arcturians are known to be specialized with the reptilians. This is why they don't like us. Go, oh, if there's an Arcturian around, the reptilian goes, oh, it's gonna mess everything up for us, and go like, well, there's other ways we can teach you, we can guide you. It's up to you, And we also well known for our advanced organic, consciously organic technology, and so we also fear, so to speak, by and respected that way by many other delegations because we are quite a force of nature in the universe, but we are also very loving. If you connect to the true nature, the true essence of an Arcturian, a real true Arcturian being, there's such a presence of light where they emanate and resonate. It's just, we have the power, we can, because I've seen myself
Yeah.
come and transmute this paradigm in a blink of an eye, but that will interfere into the most profound, meaningful, transformational that an entire species needs to do. And we will never interfere that way. We will support, guide, elevate, teach, bring a lot of teachings. We have done a lot of work directly with the consciousness of the planet. We have worked with generations of civilizations. Even the time of Atlantis, we were there. Ancient Egypt, we were there. We were the one, so-called, and I use the word fighting loosely, but we were standing up to other race. I remember a time in Egypt where there was a great debate taking place between the enlightened groups and those who are more self-serving group, and we can see them on the planet right now, and how they can utilize humanity. And I remember that, I said, no other race needs to be used. We need to teach them to recognize their grandeur, to recognize their true potential. So that's always been our philosophy. Not everybody in the universe share this philosophy.
Well, that is so amazing, and I feel that love and light from you, and that's why I look forward to another meditation from you because I felt that in the first one. And it's extremely fascinating because when I think of all the different galactic planets and beings or energies, um, you can, as a 3D human, you try to relate it in a sense like, oh, well, we have all these different ethnicities and cultures here and different nations and people view things differently and stuff like that. But then I have a deeper or more intense, serious question about that. Number one is the Galactic Federation a mixture of all these different galaxy beings, whether it's Palladian, Reptilian, Lyran, Vega, Arcturian, this one, that one, that's the first one. And then the second one is the Galactic Federation kind of always standing by to prevent, and we're kind of close to it with Israel, Palestine, Iran, Russia, Ukraine, to prevent any nuclear war on planet Earth.
You're nowhere close to it. The timeline where the Earth is destroyed has been averted a long time ago.
Okay,
Yes, he will create ripple effect. Can he create branches within the timeline that will allow certain pocket of soul or country or nations to continue to evolve and allow them to realize the karmic implication, that is a potential because the timelines are always shifting. Remember, we've been monitoring a multitude of timelines, so we knew at one point where there was a potential where the Earth would be damaged or destroyed or even beyond repair. And if you look at the diversity of a celestial being known as a planet like Gaia or the Earth or Mother Terra, one of the things that was agreed upon to the galactic alliances and the multi-frequency that it represents is that we all in agreement that the destruction would be avoided, that it will absolutely not allowed. And especially having so much technology without having the conscious and the heart connection to back it up, which is why we always said, if you encounter beings who are very much advanced on the technology level, they provide very little spiritual and higher intelligent consciousness guidance, have nothing to do with them, because that can lead you to your demise. And we've seen that in the Galactic Archives. You can ask any Syrians, you can tap into that part of you. You know what we speak of. They understand that to a T. Look what happened in the mini wars in Orions, and then of course we're not going to go any further than that. But there's so many layers because my heart is like pulling in a new direction now. So I want to stay focused with where we are today. So we understand that what's happening in the Middle East, it's a very, very ancient conflict based on, religion faction, based on political manipulation, based on really old historical wounds that needs to be resolved. That's part of the new timeline. But at the same time, you have to see is what paradigm of living. Am I here first to experience? Am I here to evolve from? And am I here to really co-manifest and sustain? So that paradigm of nuclear war, destruction, and all of this, I wouldn't be on the planet. I can tell you that. I have no need to go through that. I have nothing to learn from it. We will not put one of our ambassador in the physical form of another species if that was a timeline that it was heading to. I wouldn't be here. I would be pulled out of the planet already by now. So, just to give perspective,
that's good to hear.
we
want to keep you around.
Well, yes, and I need, because we have a lot of work to do, and it's exciting. But we are finally reaching a much higher point, and that's the thing about the dismantling of very, very old structure. And I'll tell you, number one is your communication structure. Anything that is manipulated, controlled, censored, and all of this is the control of the same being that came a long time ago. They discovered the resources, they discovered the unique human template. They really understand how human beings work more than you understand your own self at this point. And they came and they said, we're going to claim this planet and the solar system, our dominion. And this is why there's so many, many other groups that comes from extra-dimensional, celestial, interdimensional. So much energy and focal point is put onto this planet because part of the success, part of the reasons is the success of Gaia, a planet returning to a state of grace, returning to a state of ascension, will lead the way throughout the multiverse to inspire many other civilizations who are at different stages of conscious evolution. You're becoming, think of it as you are the great historian writing the archives that are going to be an inspiration for many. This is huge. So
is that why like all eyes are on us right now? Like on
yes.
Earth?
I mean, this has been looked into for thousands of years. The potential was always there, but it's really thanks to so many ancient soul, starseed, soul returning to bring light frequency, a multitude of synergy, point of contact, doing the work that you're doing, decoding the language of the universe, opening ourselves to a new form of communications, rediscovering, that all the technology that you need has been hidden from you, and it's in your body, it's in your DNA, It's in right in your own faculties. This is why there's so much distraction to go elsewhere and to block yourself in the machine or plug yourself there and it's going to tell you what is your frequency. And I'm like, what a paradox.
Well, so okay, let me ask you in that. Okay, so but hey, I still want you to explain the Galactic Federation. Is that a
Oh, yes,
mixture
yes, yes, yes. Thank you
of
for
all
reminding me
different?
because there was many layers. So let's go back to it. Yes, the Galactic Alliances is made of a multitude of intergalactic groups, civilizations, group consciousness.
Okay.
Some of them as more formless or more like consciousness. Others, they look like just blob of energy. Others, they look like a reptile if they are in the state of mind to be there. But the thing is that these alliances in the form of a galactic alliances, and there's so many different level of council, and there's many levels. Look at the UN here, the United Nations.
Yeah.
Remove the corruption for a moment. It's just remove the 3D
Right, because
corruption.
right now the UN is
And
not
no, it
so
is
good.
just a kind of reference. Remove the 3D corruption. This is why I made my point.
Right.
In its inception, in its original blueprint, its inception, was designed to represent a great many nations under one planet, right? So we'll put it that way, we'll put that on the side. So the reflection as above, so below, yes, we know, or we think we know, a multitude of different civilizations, star system, galaxies, and different interstellar space and group consciousness. But there's a much, much more larger multitude of them that is still unrevealed and unknown because it's simply vibrating at too high frequencies. They're no longer in the same, they're no longer existing in the same plane of existence as you. So all of them, we all under one big banner, we are serving the prime creator. We are maintaining balance in the multiverse. We are balancing, we're maintaining balance in the universe. With that being said, if we see a younger civilization or a species, again, that is entering an era of deep awakening, we'll consult to see what the best way to support them without depriving them from this important momentum point in their evolution. Again, this is our philosophy, and this is the philosophy of many, while others have other philosophy. And when we encounter a race, they think that they can utilize a civilization, or they may simply lacking the recognition of, to them it served their own evolution, so it's completely entitled. Then we teach them. We come together, especially the elder ones, the older civilization. We come together and we provide opportunity to provide coaching, teachings, redirecting, and then if really it's extreme case, then we take other measurement. Hmm?
I like
Hmm.
that. Okay, okay. So I want you to, okay, so share how people can get in touch with you, your website, and your courses, because Viviane, and I want you to explain all this, right? You're going on this amazing cruise. You have got different courses, and I want you to share the holographic stuff. So explain the website, how they can reach you, and then what special offerings you have coming up soon.
That is so very kind of you, Eric. So the best way to reach out to us is to the website. Everything is there. It's called Infinite Healing because healing is really infinity. So Infinite Healing from the stars. So where am I from? From this life perspective, I'm from the stars. So Infinite Healing from the Stars.com. I'm the founder of the Universal Arcturian community. We've been going on strong for at least 3 years now. We are a very specialized community in a sense that we attract people who are very dedicated to their soul mission, to be of service, to learn, to make a difference. They're teachers, they're wayshower, they're explorer, they're star seeds. So the members who come to us, it's phenomenal what we do together. We have different membership, very affordable ones for everything that you receive, the quality. Plus, you get to learn directly from an Arcturian ambassador. You're in the presence of the mastery of the Arcturians, and we do work with a multitude of other groups, not just us. And every month, one of the offerings, just the one of the offerings that you mentioned briefly, Eric, it's called the Arcturian Holographic Group Healing. So it's a
Mm,
monthly event. Anyone around the world can join. There's a replay available, of course, and it's an opportunity to really take a deep dive within the Arcturians, their beautiful natural healing technology, and get in tune with the mastery within you. Get the support, the release where you need to be, a reattunement, recalibration, and allowing the Arcturian way to see how healing for us really means. It's truly on a multiverse level. So the Arcturian holographic group healing has done wonders for people everywhere. We get comments and feedback all the times. If you need support to the website, we also have a team that can support you. Questions, explore the membership, explore what we do. We also have free content. We have a very large library of completely free meditation series you can tap into. You can just sign up for a free account and have access to all of it. And yes, we're going to be on a seminar at sea on a cruise ship with amazing people like Debbie Solaris, Neil Gore, Alan Steinfeld, Deborah Giusti, my dear friend Marilyn and Cesar, and many, many others, including myself, and I always bring my large delegation with me. We are sailing from Orlando from December 14 to the 21st, leading into the winter solstice. And part of the work that I was appointed to as an ambassador is to heal and restore and help to the Mayan timeline. We're going to be working on the Mayan timelines. We're going to be also having physical shore, I mean, excursion shore. We're going to go on the land, Belize, Cozumel, the Mayan temples. We're going
wow.
exploring also. And we're going to have Dr. Desiree and JJ Urtax with us, who's going to talk about their extensive research. And it's going to be a treat. There's still time to. It's coming though, so if you want to sign up, it's on my website
Okay.
under events, special events. It's all there. If you mention my name, I am going to offer a special private group event just for my referral, just to thank you for, for doing this. And Eric, I know you are expanding too. We're going to expand, and I do have also a new TV series coming up on the Arcturians. It's been sponsored by Sparks TV. I'm waiting for the material, the promo material. The director is working right now with leads, and we may end up, who knows, on Gaia TV, on
That sounds
Tron.
wonderful.
Yes, it's a series. It's a six-part series. It's a first pilot project. It's just me on the screen talking about the Arcturians, exploring with you deeper about us to feel our love, our
Oh,
transmissions.
congratulations. I can't wait
Thank
to
you.
see that.
Well,
That
thank
sounds
you.
awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
So now
coming.
you said it may go on Gaia, but what's the other name? Spark?
Well, the production company is called Sparks TV. It's going to
Okay.
be on their website first,
Okay.
and then after that, it can be spread everywhere. And who knows how far it gone? That's why I say it might even maybe ending up on Gaia. Who knows? It's a possibility.
That sounds amazing. Well, you know what? I already visualize and see it there. And this is kind of where we need to grow and expand. And we're so grateful for like Gaia, different. I know you're a part of, I believe, the Conscious Network,
Yes.
and things like that, because we've kind of got to get these messages to people who aren't even aware of what you like. I know some people still who our conversation right now in this podcast, they would be like, what are they talking about? You know what I mean? That we're just like playing games and we're lost and we're crazy. And I know with Pluto and Aquarius and then Uranus going into Gemini, a little bit in 2025, but from 26 to 33, we are going to have such amazing up leveling, and not only in consciousness but also in the technology. And I saw some of this, Viviane, while I was in coma for 40 days. And so what can you share with my audience and with the collective on what type of advances you feel may play out in the next 5 to 10 years for us here on Earth. I know there's going to be a lot with the healing and the medical, with stem cells and different forms of, food and anything, things coming out of the oceans. But please give us some insights on the technological advances that we may experience.
Yeah, that's another good point. It's more of an organic advancement rather than what you have known so far, like tablets and cell phones and
Yeah.
microchip and, all of this. It has served to feed the timeline that you have grown onto. That timeline is shifting. This is why we're shifting out of the old stories. We're leaving that old timeline behind. There's a disassociation. So the reintroduction of the new technology, think of it more like the time of Lemuria, the time of Atlantis, utilizing advanced form of crystalline technology, organic, that is consciously oriented, opening more, accessing higher mental faculties. The brain will naturally shift in its configuration, how the neural pathway will connect also on a universal level as conductor. And we see also a shift in the human body, shifting tremendously to really enhance the true quality of what this humanoid form is really about. All of your internal gateways, the nervous system, how to utilize the electrical energies of your nervous system for tangible physical manifestation, for example, opening your channel for more conscious, precise, and clear telepathic communications, how you can also influence your cells, talking to your stem cells, being able to realign. And can you imagine communicating fully with your DNA and being able to see what genetic markers you want to turn off and which one you want to keep on? So, for example, for you within your galactic tree of soul ancestry, you can say, well, anything around Orion or the old format, I no longer need to carry that. I'm going to turn that genetic off. And being able to do that, this is part of what we see the potential is really shifting for the human race and eventually really re-rising, returning to truly your potential, who you are, and releasing that step down version, that very compressed step down version that casts you in a box and you've been rotating in that box and looking once in a while, peeking to the box, going back in the box, you know.
Well, I have to laugh. That sounds exciting because I'm going to be working on getting, restoring my vision, getting new eyes or my eyes back to their original form and new feet. So those are my two major issues. So I look forward to, but I mean, I laugh, but I feel that. And so to me, I want the audience to know, right? Because like I said earlier, I know, I still got friends and family back home in New York who, they think, they just think Eric's a little crazy, and that's okay. Right? That's totally okay with me. But what's fascinating, when you are in deep breath work and meditation, and you do align your chakras and you do awaken your third eye and open up your heart chakra, you get these messages. You feel the Schumann resonance. You get the light codes from the sun and the DNA, upgrades here. And I try to explain to people in the most real, authentic way. And I tell him, I'm like, listen, I'm going to give it to you real and raw. I'm a Virgo, Capricorn moon, and I know, as a Taurus rising, like we're very grounded, practical people. And I think that's what that lady, she missed it, right? But she was saying to you, how can you make it simple? And I try to simply say, you can visualize and imagine anything, but you have to know with gratitude and be as authentic as you can that all possibilities are possible. We limit ourselves in this 3D matrix. And so many people, that's why they even get caught up on these labels like conspiracy theorists and stuff like that. And I try to explain to people, Oh gosh, please don't say silly words like that, because the only thing you're showing is that you've accepted being spoon fed limited beliefs and being brainwashed, so that way you don't question anything that's existing on your planet or how we could potentially ascend and grow. So, when you speak of these things in the way that you do, it's like energetically, it's going through my heart and my soul, because it's like I can remember and I know, and I saw it in the other dimensions and spiritual realms and a coma. I know where we're headed, and I tell people, don't take a day off. Do some sort of spiritual practice. You don't have to be perfect, but have the intention of taking some time out of this system and game and going within and just being still and quiet. And I want you, as we lead into you sharing another amazing meditation, I want you to explain to people not only how important it is, Viviane, but the actual benefits that people receive from meditation, from breath work, from grounding and earthing, from toning, all of these things. Share with the audience what that's all about, and then take us off into another one of your powerful, beautiful, heartfelt meditations, my friend.
With pleasure, of course, absolutely with pleasure. The importance is to understand and rediscovering your internal universe. So we are reshifting. It's a big reversal of a thought system. So your breath work, or the sacred art of breathing in a more conscious way, allows you to also connect the soul body connection together. And it's too often time there's too much disconnect at that level, which lead to a bunch of issues, feeling depressed, emotionally unfulfilled. And then there's a lot of, sometimes there's a tendency to go outside to attempt to fulfill that, whether it's shopping or clothing or changing identities and all of this. And it's just allow yourself, when you take the time to breathe, to your breath, you're reopening that connection, that natural organic connection to yourself. So take 10 seconds of breathing before you take an action, or you jump to a conclusion, or you point someone to the finger. Did you see I put my finger off the screen because I am pointing no one to the finger? That's the difference. Is before jumping onto somebody else's energy that says, well, you said that about me, or you made me do that, or you make me feel that way. When you breathe, you reconnect, you recenter yourself. And by recentering yourself, you can catch your own self and says, wow, what part of me has been reacting, and what is the true energy behind it? What is the true source energy of what makes me react in a certain way? And acknowledge that with compassion with yourself. It reinvited interweaving or reconnecting with oneself. I know we heard a lot about these, especially since the movement of the ages of the Aquarius, spiritual movement, and all of these phenomena. But in reality, if you look at the sacred practice behind it, look at the Buddhist monks, or the Taoist monks, and the masters who have really reached that point of alignment. It is impossible to reach a point of alignment or return to a point of alignment if you're still living yourself in fragmentation. If your third-dimensional logic mind has been protecting you all your life, is still leading the way, blocking the breath of your life, causing a stomach issue, anxiety, piling up a material around you, and so forth, then you have to ask yourself, okay, I have the power, you have to enter into the ownership of your light. Like, whoa, do I want to continue that path of self-destruction? Because it really is about how it's against you. It's no longer you uplifting you. So what aspect? Realize the impact you have around you. Whether you're blasting something on TikTok and social media, it's like this self-importance energy. We have to shift out of this tendency that has been influenced and introduced in a spiritual concept of self-importance, to grab my phone and then doing all these one single video. Look, I'm driving my car. Look, I'm here. I'm doing this. Are you contributing? I know I feel giggle. I say that with so much love and compassion, but at the same time, it's a wake up call.
Yeah.
Your intergalactic brothers and sisters look at you and says, when you present yourself to your star family, do you think they're going to look at the video you posted on yourself on Facebook? No, they want to connect with you. They're going to say, okay, you experienced that. You understand what it feels like. Let's the distraction be put aside. We're here in front of you. We have been for thousands of years. Are you able to listen, to be present? So that's part of it's a time. It really is. 2025 is going to shift and gear us in a whole new different direction. And it's going to ask of us to be much more flexible, adaptable, fluid, and allowing ourselves to grow and expand in what we call a higher form of spiritual maturity. And again, if that word triggers someone that says, "Oh, you're calling me an infant or a child," well, then it's your interpretation. We never said that. What we say it's just a time for humanity as a species to return to a spiritual level of maturity. And that is connecting to your breath, it's connecting to your heart, it's how you live every day. Take ownership of your actions before you send an angry email to me or to anybody else. Realize what part of myself what fragment of myself is taking control right now. What is the outcome? What is it that I want to say? So one of the things that we also see for the planet is healing the throat chakra. A lot of
Mm,
healing around communication, throat chakra.
yeah.
So for those who are getting on your path, you know what we speak of. For those who will be discovering that, that's when the throat chakra opens and blah, and everything comes out. So it's a sacred art. And
Yeah.
it's funny because as we speak, a dove, I'm on the second floor. My
Mm.
office on the second floor. A dove just attempted to land on my window.
Ah,
Oh, that's beautiful.
it's a beautiful sign and omen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sign and omen. And so let's bless the dove and what it represents. And for all of us. So really, you want to work with us, the Arcturians, we want to work with the true aspect of these ancient beings. We are millions of years old. We have attained that constant state of cultivation and balance and enlightenment because we have gone through the lessons of our civilizations. We have learned, we have adjusted, we have adapted. So it's something, the human race is no exception. It's the same. You're part of the multiverse, you're part of creation. So breathe. Okay, I'm getting faster. Breathe. Open the track. Go beyond the upper track. Open your lungs. Let the universal prana fill your body. Let's do that. Let's open the lungs and bring universal prana. Thank you for being receptive. And we invite you with your eyes closed just to really commune, bring all of your energy into your sacred quantum space. And ask yourself to your heart, am I truly receptive to receive now universal prana that allows me to be nurtured, to nourish my mind, my heart, to nourish my body, to allow myself to return into a state of deeper and more peaceful alignment, cohesiveness, harmonic field, higher discernment. I'm returning to a higher universal clarity. I'm allowing my brain function to breathe with this universal prana, to clear the neural pathways, to clear the electrical impulses, that gives new signals, new instructions, allow me to receive more now. The light codes, the solar energies, the new frequencies returning to the planet. And just as you breathe, just feel your lungs opening deeper, slowing everything down into a point in time called the now. To connect with the sacredness of my feet, the masters of light bless your feet, because you leave sacred footprints of light, memories, and experiences onto the field of Gaia and into the archives of Gaia. How many souls have read, been influenced by your soul and the feet blueprints? What you leave behind, whether you feel you're living a mundane life or a simple life, there's nothing simple and mundane anymore. It is divine. It is an invitation to realize the impact of your presence. So allowing today this is sacred universal prana energy to flow through you and even through your spine, nurturing your nerves, your nervous system, your lymphatic system, relaxing your adrenals, and allowing all of your internal organs to return into sacred balance. Just breathe, feel. Are you experiencing now a more relaxed state, returning to a true balance of your body, your being? Are you allowing your mind to be teachable again and learn from the mastery of your heart? Your heart center becomes the masterpiece of your path for realignment. It's a grand return into that state. You can interweave this every day and just feel through your sacred breath, allowing universal prana to flow through your body conduit and even expanding into your luminous field. Are you allowing your heart energetic field and your luminous field to be fully expanded? Strengthening your field is allowing yourself to deflect with more ease what no longer can enter your sacred space, what no longer have permission to enter your space, including on the mental level, emotional, etheric, spiritual, and physical. I no longer authorize these step down frequencies to come and scramble my own field. Just feel the energy with so much more clarity and precision. I allow universal prana to restore myself to a higher divine alignment. And within my human experience, as above, so below, let's bring soul body connection together again. And moving forward, I stand in my light with certainty and let everything flow. Beautiful. And now you can feel as you are centered, grounded into this higher loving presence. You're now welcome to gently open your eyes and return to your space. Perfect. Welcome back.
Oh, wow. So, as I always like to share with my audience, what you really just experienced, you guys, was Viviane's, Gemini sun in the second house and her Scorpio moon in the seventh house. And it's this beautiful galactic communication gift that you have, Viviane, that I feel in your astrological placements, how you can help us ground and at the same time visualize and be aware of our galactic and spiritual essence. But then that integration of the Scorpio moon, where it's like your words magnetically allow us to experience these great transformations with the healing frequencies that can really only be displayed in some ways from a water moon and specifically from a Scorpio moon that is so powerful. And I love to connect the astrology and align that with every aspect of our soul, because like you mentioned earlier, right? We have these soul contracts and we choose these experiences for us to awaken and remember and experience the 3D matrix system. But then to remember, and the map of your life, the remembrance of your soul, the birth chart does help you to remember, as well as beautiful meditations and galactic work and that you do. I thank you because I felt that like pour over me, then it makes me remember how important it is for me every day, because I do it every day, but to really be one with my breath. I always take that time to ground and tone and meditate, but it makes me realize I even have to take more time with that breath. So thank you. I know the collective will receive this so lovely, and it's just it's so empowering. So as we wrap up, because I can't kidnap you the entire day,
I love the way you said.
but as we say goodbye, I want you to just you kind of already touched on it, but I want that simplified uh, explanation to allow my audience and the universal audience to really understand that we're going to be okay, but what is our individual responsibility along this ascension to be able to be prepared and to integrate 2025 and beyond, and
Hmm. Yeah.
share that with the audience.
Well, I would say the proof is in the pudding. You know this expression? The proof is in the pudding. It means that if you look at how you've been living, the state of the world for generations, the movement, this dualistic energy, polarization, feeling disconnect. Can you imagine for a moment for yourself, your families, your children, friends, neighbors, and everyone on the planet? Can you imagine continuing on that trajectory, continuing on that pathway, hoping that the next year will be better, to bring more abundance, to bring more health, to bring more happiness, to bring more fulfillment? So that's a paradox. And so you are facing that wonderful golden opportunity of dismantling that paradox and building, co-manifesting together a much more unified paradigm where there's no more war around religion separations or the crusade in the 1700s or 500 years ago of because a king and a queen once upon a time said something that stayed in the country forever. And I'm really bringing generic things, but you can relate to what we're saying is, can you imagine continually living in a place where children are no longer allowed to fulfill their true potential, be taught about sacred communication, healing, compassion, really much deeper universal values rather than to be exposed to thematics that have no space in the consciousness of a child? Can we allow, are we really, feel it for a moment with me? This is important. Can you really see yourself continuing living in the same pace? Well, if the answer is no, which most likely I suspect it's a big no no, that is your answer. So if you look again as when a nation speak and people are really ready to embrace changes, they want to bring in new form of feeling safe in their own place, releasing also generational programming, you know, releasing themselves from third dimensional, belief system, then you are really embracing a brand new aspect of you. And that start with, can I recognize myself? Then I am first and foremost an infinite divine being of light with multitude of past incarnations. I have a multitude of life experience, whether it's on this planet or as a Syrian, as a Pleiadian, or as an Arcturian, as an Andromedan. If that is part of my reality, and I accept that I am much more than these 3D personality traits, belief system patterns, behavioral patterns, emotional responses, then you just realize that you are about to embark into a new journey. Besides, you have come to a momentum. You have reached a momentum on your planet, and the old timeline, the old ways, the old structures are naturally dismantling. So embrace the change, embrace it, this beautiful transformation. Think of it this way: you're part of the universe, and what is the universe doing? The universe is constantly changing and expanding. If you're resisting change, then you're setting yourself to be really feeling maybe restricted. It may not lead to the happiness that you've been hoping and praying for. So let yourself be open to expand, explore, and let the distractions on the way. Put down your devices, unplug yourself from computer, YouTube, TikTok. It is so very unhealthy and very, very polarized. Release yourself from all of it and instead create meaningful communications and connections with others. What can I do to be of service today? What can I do to contribute to the outcoming of the new frequencies in the timeline of ascension that I have come to be a part of? And it's time. It's your choice. Souls will be allowed to evolve. Think about it. Souls will still be allowed to evolve either way, but it depends on what timeline are you in. And it's going to become much more palpable in 2025 and beyond 2025. We have reached that point, and I know that many of you are ready. Like you, Eric, obviously, of course, you're ready, and you're embracing it with joy and giggle, and like, I'm ready.
Oh yeah. So been ready.
Oh yes, oh yes. It's like you can feel it. There's something in the air that feels old and stale, right? And it's like this projection of this reality. We are moving beyond. We're rekindling with our DNA ancestry. We're rekindling with our gifts, our memories, our potential. Going, oh, I can move object with my mind. Yes, it's a rediscovery. We said this very ancient faculties. You're discovering it. Just allow yourself to go. What is else is the potential is possible. So, and there's going to be more. We're going to guide. We're going to be there along the way. This is where I'm on the planet. This is where you're on the planet, Eric.
Oh yeah.
This is many of you who are on the planet. We know we're in this. We're boots on the ground. So let's work together and with Gaia. And so let's remember what it feels like to love Gaia, to love each other, and how to care for Gaia and how to care for one another. Then your intergalactic brothers and sisters will come, says, now you're ready for us.
I love that. Oh boy,
Thank you.
this was so much fun. So again, just share your website if people want to, join you on the cruise or take a class, join your newsletter. Where's the best place to reach Miss Viviane Chauvet?
Yes, thank you so much, Eric. Again, my website is infinitehealingfromthestars.com. Infinitehealingfromthestars.com. We have our community, beautiful, light-minded people who are dedicated. They're ready. They've gone through so much in their lives. They learned from it, and they're embracing the changes. They're embracing this new paradigm that we are in together. The cruise is an opportunity to experiment also different part of the world and be in the presence of very beautiful light-minded people, galactic, who wants to reconnect, to learn, to make a difference, to uplift, to be of service and to connect with the grits of the ocean. We're going to be connecting, of course, with the conductor of the sacred waters. We're going to invite many masters and ancient um, record keepers and guardians as we go on shore to connect. I know I can tell you with my delegation, we're going to be working on restoring and repairing multiple points on the grids as we go on shore with the
That's beautiful.
temples, realigning the temples with the original wisdom. And we're going to be doing a lot more work. So there's a lot going on.
I like that.
Yes.
That's
And
wonderful.
take
Well,
a deep breath. Remember to breathe.
this is and it's so powerful and important, and I love it. So you guys, you know what to do. Always make sure you like, share, and subscribe. But please share this podcast interview. You don't know who you may open up a literal portal to their heart, that our words could pierce through their ears and their heart in a new way that awakens someone that you think would never listen to what we're talking about. Don't hesitate to just share, because sometimes you could get 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 no's in a row, but sometimes it just takes that one click that someone is tired of being tired, and they're ready to open up their heart and their mind and their third eye, and really contemplate and take a class with Viviane and sign up on her website and do an astrology reading with me, that they just may be ready to finally really understand that they are so more than just this physical avatar body. So I encourage you to always share. And I just appreciate it, because I want people to hear this message of love and light from Viviane Chauvet, and she's an ambassador for a reason. So thanks again, Viviane. This was so much fun. And you guys, thank you for watching episode 269 of my Knowledge is Love Astrology podcast.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day. All right. Bye.